I wear three different hats, I guess, in being here. One of them is I live in a community called Sand Hill Farm that I helped start in 1974. So I've been living in an example of an intentional community for 40 years. So I have a lot of on-the-ground experience in what community living is or how it touches people's lives.
Right.
Then later on, after several years of that, I had a chance to get involved with a group of people who were interested in sharing what was being learned in communities in a wider field. So we created an organization in the States called the Fellowship for Intentional Community.
Right.
That was in 1987. So we're 27 years old now.
You've been doing this for a while.
We have. We're a clearinghouse for information about intentional communities.
Okay.
And then notably for this event, in 2005, which is now 9 years ago, we broadened our mission to beyond servicing intentional communities, understanding that something was being learned in that crucible that would export into the wider culture. The idea being that the numbers of people that live in intentional community are very small. While they're growing and we service that market, it's only about 100,000 people in North America live in some form of intentional community. If you asked a different question, if you asked how many people have as much sense of community in their life as they would like, you get a much larger number. We'd say maybe 100 million people. So that is also our constituency, and we feel that something is being learned in the intensity of intentional community that can make it easier for those who would like more in their neighborhoods, in their schools, in their workplace, in their churches, a greater sense of community. So we're trying to make that bridge, and so this event is an excellent example of this audience is interested in enhancing the quality of community in that broader, looser sense. And I'm here to find out, first of all, do I have something to offer? Does the intentional community experience have something to offer in that attempt?
Right.
And I pretty well answered that yes, I think we do. However, I'm not sure there's an invitation yet. That is, what we have to offer is actually something that people would like to invite in. So that I'm trying to feel my way around that, and that's the two primary purposes of my being here. Now the third hat I wear, I haven't gotten to that yet, is since 1987 I've been a consultant to groups across North America. I travel all around. I'm on the road half the time working with groups who want to know how to cooperate better. They're inspired by the theory of it and the idea of it, but it doesn't mean they know how to do it.
Right.
In particular, we are raised in a competitive, hierarchic, adversarial culture, and making the shift to cooperative culture requires culture change. And a lot of people who stick their toe in the water or make an attempt to be part of a cooperative group don't understand that it's not about just having read a book and all of a sudden you're going to be cooperative. In the heat of the moment, you have to respond differently when somebody disagrees with you than the way we've been conditioned to respond.
Right.
And so it takes some skill in navigating that change. If you don't understand it, you won't enjoy the results you get, and a lot of people get discouraged and quit. In the U.S., which I know better than Canada, I live in Missouri. There are about 100,000 people that live in intentional community. There are about 4 million people that live in cooperative housing.
Right.
So it's 40 times more common. However, my experience with that, and I can't say I know the whole thing thoroughly, but I've spent some time talking with people, visiting groups, going to national conferences on that topic, and that there is not nearly the commitment in that. It's mostly an economic arrangement rather than, well, actually there's a big fork in the road there between limited equity and market rate. So those are pretty different animals, but they fit under one umbrella. But in both cases, neither one of them, I think, has really done a lot of spade work on the social side of how we actually function together cooperatively. It's more about cooperative economics. Well, I'm certainly enjoying the theme that's been stated and reinforced by some of the main speakers, particularly Peter Block and John McKnight, about the need to, we have what we need already. It's a question of taking advantage of it rather than lamenting the fact that more resources aren't devoted to this attempt. And that's in particular how to reach out to people and recognize who they are, where they are, without asking them to come to you.
Yeah.
That resonates strongly for me.